Simply Cards and Papercraft magazine. This is issue 212. Now this is all about celebrations, and this has taken a while for this to find its way to us. I understand there was a fire on the boat and then it got waylaid to different locations, maybe even different countries, I'm not sure, but it's here. And what's nice about celebrations is they happen all year long. This is talking about happy anniversary. We'll see some other things inside, but more importantly, here's what comes with it. So this is called Fabulous Fizz, and you can see that there are these cutting dies as well as stamps. So just a nice collection. So some things that you might celebrate might be an anniversary, a party, an engagement, a wedding, Happy New Year. I can think of happy birthday would obviously be one. Graduation, there are just lots of reasons to celebrate. And when this pandemic is over, that'll be another thing to celebrate. Now let's look inside and we'll see what the designers have done with this. Here are some projects. This is how to get more from your Fabulous Fizz stamp and die set. So showing you a background and then also giving you some ideas of doing some cutouts. Pop, fizz, clink, well that's the process. If you're doing champagne, that would be fun. Doing a shaker card, that seems very reasonable. And you can see here it is for an engagement. Here it is the same thing with the pop, fizz, clink. And it kind of expands over the card, so that's interesting. Here is a pop-up box card. Now you know that we have cutting die for that. And we will, in a moment, have our die cut cards back to make the pop-up box. So lots of different ways to execute that. Now this is about gold embossing, and I think it's just nice to know how effective just a bit of gold can be. We certainly see that with our thin line gold dazzles, but you can see this even on something like this where it's just the outline, just very stunning, just absolutely gorgeous. So it's a good technique to remember as you're using your stamps. Here we're back into a more using the cutting dies and stamps. This is using shrink plastic, also just making kind of a light one or a dark one, pretty close to the same look, just with different materials. This is using wax paper, and I remember doing this in some of our stamping DVDs. So this is going to give you some step-by-step information and a little bit of step-by-step photos, so that's always helpful. And we have now the perfect combination, this says. So you can see lots of sparkle going with these. And here is how you can make them. So this is doing a frame with strips of paper, kind of looking very confetti-ish. Again, the shaker cards, or just having them glued within that die cut area. That's a different shape, isn't it? And here we have another with step-by-steps. It's also making those, it's a multi-aperture shaker is what that's called. So say that 3 times fast. I thought that was just really attention getting, some strips of paper and the Celebrate going straight across. And we'll get some more things. Always nice to explore these. This perfect pop-up. I thought this was so interesting because it's just one little piece in the center of your card. Just very lovely. In fact, we have a single sheet of paper that has hydrangeas like that. This is like the cutting die that Stampendous just did that makes all these pop-up shapes, or you can cut them out yourself, whatever you prefer. This is adding beads. You don't usually see that, but they've strung some beads and added them into the cards or onto the cards. So that I thought was interesting. And we will go here, more to raise a glass. And you can see, I thought the rounded card was fun to have. And you can see all of these. That's the anniversary that was on the front. Doing some step-by-steps to make a card like this. Fun to have with that idea of celebration, the metallic papers, or you could use the holographic papers, which just look like they've done there. Just makes even more of a celebration. And you can see again a pop-out mechanism right there. And little bit more. So there we go, last orders. Cheers, happy anniversary, doing some decoration on that wine bottle. I thought this was fun, just using the circles and scallops cutting dies, and that's a really popular one for us. In fact, we just reordered it. So you can see just some different things that you can do with it. And there's quite a few here, very bright cardstock colors, and that's fun to see and probably fun to make, I would imagine. And then we have the watercolor block stamping. And what I liked about this is you can do your stamping in black and then come back and do some watercolor or use your ink pads just to create blocks of color. And I think that's a very different technique. And there's some more here, doing you step by step and showing you how that might happen. So a lot of ideas, as well as very fun dies and stamps to celebrate anything that's going to be happening in our Simply Cards and Papercraft magazine, issue 212. I'm very happy to tell you this is exclusively available at paperwishes.com.